On the most northerly point of Tel Aviv, on the cliff beach looking at the Mediterranean Sea, you can find a tent that's become a centre of pilgrimage over the last few months. This tent is the new home of the last tourists still travelling Israel.
We see this very beautiful place and we decided to stay here.
The story of Svetlana and Sergei's travels begins in Sochi, Russia, where they began searching for a destination for their big trip around the world.
We thought about where we could go and checked online. We found the Israel National Trail in the list of the 20 most beautiful trails in the world by National Geographic.
After landing in Eilat in the very south of Israel in February, they immediately made their way into the desert to start the Trans-Israel Trail.
Nobody know about corona.
No one knew about the coronavirus. Neither did we. We went to the desert. After 2 or 3 weeks, we came out of the desert and saw a lot of people with masks and gloves. We didn't understand what was happening.
At that time, the borders with Russia were still open. Despite the coronavirus pandemic, Sergei and Svetlana promised themselves to at least make it to the Dead Sea, Jerusalem and Tel Aviv before returning to Russia, so they continued walking the trail. After 500 miles of walking, they stumbled upon the first great city, which they found in a state of emergency.
The city was under lockdown with police and military forces. They wouldn't let me buy food. I told them I walked all the way from Eilat. They didn't believe me. They said I was traveling by bus.
The hiking duo then continued on the trail until they made it up to the famous Yarkon River, where they decided to set up camp.
We were on a trip with our family to the Yarkon River. We saw this couple with huge backpacks. We asked something, and just by their hello, we immediately realized that it was a Russian hello.
Vlada is one of the first friends they made in Israel, and she continues to visit them in their new home on Cliff Beach. Since then, dozens have heard of the couple and make their way up to the tent, offering the pair food and other supplies.
I asked them maybe if they need something, maybe, I don't know, necessities or basic things, and that's how we got to know each other.
People asked them if they need help, offered a place to stay, money, food, just name it. Everyone wanted to help.
The Ministry of Tourism is now doing its best to help the pair until restrictions are lifted and the couple can go home. Meanwhile, Svetlana and Sergei visit the embassy every other day, and just last week they almost succeeded in flying back to Moscow, but moments before boarding, they and many others stayed behind because of restrictions.
We were already a moment before takeoff, actually boarding the plane, and we were finally not allowed to board.
Sergei and Svetlana still don't know when they'll be able to go home, but in the meantime, they say they're going to enjoy every minute of their stay in Israel.